Hello and welcome to Trails to Azure Part 28. Chapter 3 started last time, and I just talked to a bunch of people. The main quest for this day will be hunting cryptids, but for today specifically, I will basically be going through the last 4 places in Crossbell, well 5 if you include the back alley, going through these areas of Crossbell, going to the cathedral, and some of the outlying regions to talk with people who seem relevant. I've already missed a bunch of stuff, so it doesn't really matter, but I don't want to miss everything. So, here it begins. Many of us yearn for independence, but not all. That difference in opinion cannot be ignored, hence why there's a referendum. Having lived through the past several decades, I know well the threat posed by our neighbors to the east and the west. However, perhaps now is the time for Crossbell to make a change, much like the way Hotel Millennium has. I have a stuffy nose because of the weather. Ooh, it's locked. It's abnormal. Because normally they just leave it open. That says something. I need to blow my nose. Currently the weather here is not conducive to nice noses. The debut of Arc-en-Ciel's revival show is coming closer by the day. I didn't manage to get a ticket, but I'm still looking forward to hearing how it turns out. They're gonna have to change the name, aren't they? They said Sully was like the third princess. It's like Golden Sun, Silver Moon, and Grey Dawn, or Grey Twilight, or something. Which is not a heavenly body, so it doesn't make sense, but man, Arc-en-Ciel's got them another star in the making. They're primming up that Sully girl to be a new princess in their play, from what I hear. It hasn't even been a year since they found Rixia. Some people have all the luck, huh? I don't know if this guy ever matters. Yeah, that guy never matters, he's just a gambling addict. Oh, who's this? Well, hello there, Wazi. Thank you for showing me such a good time the other day. Hehe. Our hour together felt like an absolute dream. Same to you, madam. I'm glad I could be of service. Putting aside the moral gray area, how does Wazi find time to host in between all of our other duties? Oh yeah, and I have to go around talking to food places. I only talked to the juice place so far. I might talk to the food places as I go. I was originally going to leave it till later, but Lady Ilia, Rixia, and Sully will be starring alongside each other as the revival's 3 celestial princesses. What's this third heavenly body gonna be? I even managed to nab a ticket this time. I've never been more excited. 3 days. Just 3 more days. The revival performance debut is so close you can taste it. I can't wait any longer. They didn't kick me out. I thought they were gonna kick me out. Opening night is quickly approaching. I can feel the excitement growing among the troop and staff, myself included, naturally. So let's go up here. They're probably not gonna let me. Oh, they did. What? Generally, they've been forcing me to not go this way. Ah, because Ilya is here. ... What are you doing up here, Ilya? Oh, if it isn't my favorite little guy and his merry band of friends. I'm guessing you're here to give us some encouraging words before the revival debut? Something like that. Were you looking in on how Sully and Rixia's rehearsal is going? You know it. I can get a great view from up here without them noticing. It's good to see they don't need me there to give it their all. They both remind me of myself when I first joined the troupe. I guess even you were a rookie at some point. Kinda hard to imagine though, huh? Feel free to tell us all about it. We've got the time. Hehe. Not that I mind. I wouldn't want to bore you kids to tears. We promise you won't. We'd love to hear your story. I remember all the papers mentioning how high expectations were for your first performance. So you had captivated the city even before debuting. If I may ask, what was it that made you pursue a career on the stage in the first place? Good question. I'd say it all started when I watched Arc-en-Ciel back in my childhood. Oh, I get it. So you wanted to be just like them, is that it? No, I wanted to be better. No, not exactly. It's true their productions were impressive even then, with their talented casts and elaborate sets. But at the end of every show, I would always feel like something was missing, and I just couldn't accept it. See, she thought they were bad. What do you mean? Everyone and their mothers would go on about how amazing Arc-en-Ciel was. I was afraid there might be something wrong with me to think otherwise. There I was, tiny baby Ilya thinking, come on, I could do better than that. See, I knew this is where I was going. Hehe, can you imagine? A total amateur like me thinking she could outshine Arc-en-Ciel if she was given the chance? It's fun. It's like she got into the position to prove it, and she did. Wow. So you were just as passionate, even when you were little. With an attitude like that, I can already see all the friends you made when you finally landed a spot in the troupe. I won't deny it. I was a talentless, inexperienced amateur, dancing on the toes of the real pros. But in my heart, I believed I could be the one to raise the bar. I told myself that if I let my performance do the talking, then eventually I'd earn their respect and win them over. Which made you who you are today. Maybe you kids know by now that I'm a perfectionist. The catch is, I don't believe Arc-en-Ciel has ever put on a perfect show. That's why I went out and mined 2 diamonds in the rough, Rixie and Sully. With the 2 of them at my side, I believe we're oh so close to putting on the ultimate show I've dreamed of. Wow, Ilya, you're the most ambitious person I've ever met. I would personally say the crazy cultist aiming to turn himself into a demon god is probably more ambitious, but it was less realistic. They say hard work beats talent every time. But in your case, Ilya, both of them apply in spades. There really is no one like you. Couldn't have said it better myself. Oh, please. You don't have to flatter me over a boring story like that mine. When you guys finally have a night off, you should come see us put on our revival performance. Rixie and Sully are going to set the stage on fire with yours truly. It's going to be our greatest production yet. Of course, count us in. We look forward to seeing you put on the show of your dreams, Ilya. I think today's just going to be within the city, because my stuffy nose makes it incredibly annoying to talk. Because I can feel my nose move. Our revival performance debuts in only 3 days. On a related note, we have a dress rehearsal scheduled for all of tomorrow. Please be aware that only troop members will be allowed in the theater during that time. Basically, we're not going to be allowed in, which is fairly normal. I probably can't talk to them from here. I definitely have to go out and around. But yeah, I think audio quality will be better if I don't have a stuffy nose. Nikolai scored such a big, important role, and while I'm here, lagging around behind. What are you complaining about, Selene? You'll have plenty more appearances this time than before, won't you? Maybe, but compared to the others, no one is comparing you to anybody. Don't you realize that? This troop only has one Selene, and that's you, sweetie. Now come on, put a smile on for me, will you? All that scowling is going to ruin your makeup. Heh, these two goobers? Wait, no, these aren't the two goobers. The other goober's Blondie. Where's Blondie? Blondie's normally talking with blue hair. Yeah, clearing my nose constantly is going to be annoying, so I'm going to just try to get the main Crossbow City done today. Molly doesn't look so good. I think she got some major jitters over her performance. It wouldn't surprise me. This is her debut. Still, this is a challenge she has to overcome on her own. We ought to just keep quiet and watch over her. Yeah, you're right. Where's Blondie? Is he gonna be over here fuming about how he got replaced? Probably not, but... Oh, where's Corellia when you need her? Beggars can't be choosers, I guess. Hey, Eugene, can I ask you a favor? What is it, Player? My sash has loosened up a tiny bit. I can't tie it by myself. Be a doll and help me out, will you? You can't be serious. It's only plie. Why must I be so nervous? And it's only plie in like a centimeter of material. Though I fear one mistake will send me off to the gallows. Eugene's a little more innocent than I gave him credit for. Seeing him so flustered is making even me feel a little embarrassed. Weak. Already got this? Yep. The set that we had the studio build for a revival production will finally be ready tomorrow. Imagine only having your set ready 2 days before. We threw in some pretty insane design specifications this time around. But no matter how impossible it seems on paper, Meister Jorg, ooh, that's sketchy, always pulls through for us in the end. I mean, he's a good guy. Like, he technically works with Ouroboros, but Ouroboros isn't a monolith. They're not all bad people. I'm excited to go pick it up. How are they getting a whole set delivered? That's impressive. Look, Rixie and Sully are on stage. Is that Sully's star princess costume? I guess it's the sun, the moon, and star. That makes sense. It's gorgeous. Yeah, but take a closer look at Soldier. I hate this Soldier name. It's pointless. Seems a little uncomfortable up there. How was that even? Perfect, right? Illy's gonna be blown away by my skills. Well, I would give it passing marks, yes. That's all. What about you, Rixia? Tell me what you think. I didn't miss a single step, right? Dude, if I had to offer a word of advice, Sully, it would be to put a little more emotion into your movements. It's difficult to explain, but it may help to picture yourself the way you want the audience to see you. How I want them to see me? Can't you be more specific? Randy's right. She's struggling. We should probably leave them be. I agree. This would be a bad time to interrupt. Boom. Exploration of Arc-en-Ciel complete. Now I need to talk to this lady. Hey there, craving some ice cream today? Well, that's actually what we came to ask about. You see, we're with the special support section. And explain the mission. So you guys are the ones on the job, eh? The CNS already told me a bit about it. I've been ready for this. So without further ado, allow me to recommend my one and only septic-colored sherbet. Ah, sherbet's such a weird concept. There's like the ice cream, then there's the like UK sweet. There's a powder. It's weird. Whoa, now that sounds good. It's my newest creation, a frozen blend of several delectable flavors all at once. I've even added bits and pieces of candy that burst in your mouth. The texture is an experience you'll never forget. There's sorbet and sherbet. I see. We'd love to try it. Lloyd and team ate the sherbet. Or sherbet. Oh, munch. It's cool and delicious. The presentation is cute too. And I see what you mean about the texture. The candy just explodes on my tongue. Looks like it's a hit with the ladies of the SSS, he says after 2 out of 3 spoke. You sure about that? Teotot looks like she got hit with a bad case of brain freeze. No, not quite. I was simply too shocked for words. She loves it. The thrill of the popping candy, the creamy, refreshing coolness, and the perfect balance of flavors harmonizing on your palate like an optimized quartz loadout. This is it, the beginning of the sherbet revolution. My apologies. Perhaps I went a little overboard. Safe to say this one is Tio's new favorite. Do you think you could write about it for the gourmet guide? Yes, I'd give it a sterling 5 out of 5 recommendation. Hehe, I'm glad you liked it so much. Be sure to come back sometime. I have plenty more where that came from. So, that's automatic, right? The food... Oh yeah, I picked up a quest for Commissioner Pierre. Okay. So it is automatically following ones. Like if you find the one, it automatically tracks it. So I just have to check in here. There's not gonna be anything important. Yeah, there's nothing. Oh, there's these nerds. I hope they lose all their money. Oh, that would be a fun plot point if they have to go home because they burned it all at the casino. Several of our guests appear to be causing quite the commotion downstairs. I may have to ask them to leave if they refuse to settle down. Oh, I really hope they gambled away all their money. Oh, that would be funny. No, trade. Okay, so there's a new one here to unlock. Oh, cool. That's neat. But I'm gonna have to buy a jukebox eventually. I won't gamble for it. I'll probably just exchange Mira directly. Independence. To be or not to be? That's no easy question to answer. Mayor Qua has raised the stakes on us considerably. Those 3 over there look like they have Mira to spare, but I don't like their vibes one bit. They got all hoity-toity and asked if I want to play with them. Like, no thank you? I'm gonna blow my nose. While I was playing my notes, I was reading about sherbet in North America, where it's basically just kind of not ice cream flavored with like fruit juice and stuff. It has dairy products, whereas in Canada and the US, sorbet doesn't have dairy. And it's more like fruit, frozen fruit stuff. And then sherbet powder is a fizzy sweet powder in, I guess, the rest of the world. Sherbet in the UK and other Commonwealth countries is a fizzy powder. It's interesting. I have no interest in overgrown children still nursing off their parents' Mira and status. Suave, refined men like Mr. Drake are much more up my alley. Was Mr. Drake the proprietor? Ah, yeah. He is indeed suave. The three gentlemen to my right have been rude and obnoxious to our other guests since the moment they arrived. Don't they have any common decency? If this continues, I'll have to straighten them out with stern warning myself. I really hope they gamble away all their money. Damn, that is one classy mama sitting over there. Sucks that she turned us down, but I guess we can't all have good taste. Actually, I think if they got in a car crash, it'd be pretty fun. A non-lethal car crash, but like, they blow out a tire, they have to replace the tire, but no one sells a tire, and then they can't drive around. Hey, don't push your luck, Yuri. We might get thrown out if you win too much. Everyone's making a huge fuss over this independence garbage. Ha, what a bunch of morons. That would be so fun. If independence succeeds, I don't have any idea how that's going to go. If independence succeeds, they instantly pass a law saying, hey, people who break our laws can be kicked out, and then these three get kicked out. Oh, that'd be beautiful. You crossbones should just keep your mouths shut and obey the Republic like the dogs you are. If you value your peaceful lives, that is. Heh heh heh. I mean, they're definitely just being set up as, like, people who will eventually have a huge downfall, and it will be satisfying. Because I can't see how those characters are going to go, other than that. This referendum thing is all anyone's been able to talk about. Eric said I should take part in it too, but that's easier said than done. I mean, the voting hours are right in the middle of my beauty sleep. The latest word on the streets that the Imperial government hired the Red Constellation to intercept those terrorists at the conference. Crimson and Co. has been laying low since then. They've hardly done a thing worth mentioning. Business as usual for them, I suppose. Those Jaegers are about as professional as it gets. Still nothing? Yeah. Piping hot cheese pizza. This is not the type of bar that... Like, I don't go to bars, but I feel like it's such a weird place to sell cheese pizza. All this independence talk is cramping my style. No doubt you feel the same, right? So, what better chance to come in and relax at our club? We'll give you a good time, guaranteed. I mean, my assumption is he here for the Garant, or is he here for, like, one that we can't actually enter? I assume they're not going to let me go in? Yep. I wanted to purchase that, but I can't yet because it's expensive. Ooh, a music box. Evergreed's 80,000. I could sell enough Sepith to get it, but... Click, clack, click, clack. Interesting. Very interesting. The debate over independence is even less civil on the Orbital.net. No one has access to... like, it's not that common use. The majority of people seem to be in favor of it. At the moment, that is. Hehe. Seems like I'll have a steady stream of entertainment for a while. Let the discourse rage on, I say. Ah, wonderful. The internet troll grandma. I totally understand why my dad worries about me so much. That doesn't make him any less overbearing. Supposedly there's a CP charger funk that you can buy somewhere, whether it's here or somewhere else, I don't know. But wherever that's available, it would be very nice. It might be unlocked next chapter or something. I don't know how it would be unlocked. Master Quartz Aegis. Does it tell me what it does? Earth. Immunity under certain conditions. It's too expensive for now. Scepter is water. Strength and arts. Oh, but it obtains sepith from attacks and crafts. I want to see how much it gives. I'm gonna just very quickly. It could be a very minor boon. Master Quartz. I mean, a random thread saying good for grinding and if you want mirage stuff, but that's about it. So I'm not gonna bother for now. Oops, I have to actually click back in. You hear about this independent stuff. Practically floored me at first, but the more I hear about it, the more I get the mayor's idea. I mean, Arboni and Calvard are thinking of stationing their soldiers on our borders. We're never going to have real peace unless we stand up for ourselves and make our voices heard. If not now, then when? I probably should upgrade some stuff, but I just can't decide what to do, so I can leave stuff unupgraded for a bit. This store has quite a diverse selection of Orbital products. Brands from nations near and far are carried here. But of course, who would expect anything less from Zamiria's leading trade city? Sneeze Town. Ooh. Yes, air quality's kind of bad in various parts of Canada right now. Tyrone suggested I become a nurse. I've been putting a lot of thought into it. I'll wait until next year to take the exam, but I already scored well on the practice one. For now, though, I'm still planning on taking the residency exam next year, too. Knowing I have multiple options helped take some of the weight off of my shoulders. That's kind of wholesome. It's like, hey, he wants to become a doctor, but he's like, you know what? Someone suggested, hey, try being a nurse. It's like, he's totally open for it. It's kind of positive. Because, you know, nurses are important. I hear Southwark and Jeanette are going steady now. Oh, that's the two that were in Michelin. Nothing spices things up like a little workplace fling. Ah, the flames of youth. So, did Southwark confess during that trip they took? Oh, because all these people, like, there was a company trip. They all went, or company dinner thing. It wasn't company though, it was the people. And everyone focused on one person, and that other person felt jilted. Uh-huh. It was at Fortuna, that fancy restaurant out in Michelin. He even asked the staff to help him surprise her. Who knew Southwark was such a romantic and a showman at that? Well, if anything, I'm just thrilled for Janetta. She deserves to be happy. I suppose that leaves me as the last single lady standing in our trio. Ugh. Thinking back on it, the tail end of the trade conference was a veritable whirlwind of events. Between the terrorist attack and Mayor Qua's proposal, I was left at a loss for words. I can't imagine how other countries will react to this independence business, but it's safe to say Crossbell is on center stage right now. So wait, is this Southwark? I just never paid attention to his name. I never saw Janetta as anything more than a friend until, well, maybe I just didn't understand my own feelings. In any case, I'm glad I mustered up the courage to ask her out. Wholesome. I'm still collecting this even if I'm not going to get all the, I'm missing the other book series, so I'm not going to get an achievement, but I still feel like collecting them. Well, back to another day of people watching. I gotta kill time somehow. By the way, I noticed the guy who runs the general store and that one receptionist lady have been way friendlier than usual lately. Does that mean what I think it means? I love this character. This little kid who's just people watching every day because his mom is obsessed with shopping. Oh, you knew Prada doesn't matter. She's a nobody. Yeah. Most of these side people don't have anything interesting to say. Well, would you look at that? They've added new stock all over the store. I can always count on Times to be on top of the latest and greatest products. I should really check shoes then. Kagemaru sandals. Ooh, 5 evasion. That's useful. That's actually 5 less evasion. I mean, the slender heels would be worth it for those two, but I'm lazy. I don't feel like upgrading gear. Wait, where's the receptionist lady? Is she upstairs? Yep, she's right there. It's really nice out today. The air up here feels good, too. Orcus Tower feels right at home in Crossbell City's panorama. Of course, one should expect the townscape to change dramatically over the next 10 to 20 years. But Orcus Tower may be the only building that ends up a permanent fixture of our skyline. I mean, I guess technically IBC over there could get overshadowed eventually, but Southwark was such a charmer that night he took me to Michelin. You know what he did? He looked me straight in the eye and said that he likes me for who I am. I can't do a dreamy sigh. Couldn't have asked for a better birthday. Wholesome. Happy. I kind of hope that there's a later misunderstanding where it's like, oh, he's cheating on me, or she's cheating on me, and they aren't. Just like generic stuff like that. Just as a background to the Crossbell falling apart. Okay. If you'll do anything, then either cut the carbs or start working out. What's not clicking? Why can't there be a way to lose weight without having to work out or stop eating? I'll do anything. So please, someone please tell me. That's funny. That's a good joke. Suspicious car. I'm gonna go here last because there's a quest there for sure. Ahem. Over here on your right, you'll see... Wait. Was it my right or their right? Mimicking her mother. All anyone can talk about these days is independence. There's more happening in the news, people. Just the other day, they made a critical revision to our basic traffic laws. The latest reform introduced license suspensions to the penalty system. I'm praying that it'll reduce the number of horrible traffic accidents, if even just a bit, just a little. The number of horrible traffic violations has been on the rise again. Oh, that's funny. I understand laws are just rules the government slaps onto paper. But you'd think people would follow them out of common decency. You know those morals you learned back in Sunday school? Sadly, some people toss them in the trash the moment they turn to adults. Just don't forget, guys. Eyes on the road, hands at 10 and 2, and remember to pay attention to your surroundings, okay? Of course, traffic safety is my middle name. We'll keep that in mind, Kate. That is, if Noelle ever lets anyone else drive. That was a funny transition from hopefully the traffic will reduce to traffic problems are on the rise. That was good. I'm glad I read them in that order. So there's gonna be a quest here. Look. Haha, you have a keen eye, Margaret. Forgive me if I'm being out of line, but you truly are wasted on your husband. I mean, that's objectively true, because he's just not a good guy. Hehe. Oh, Clyde, you always have such a way with words. That's the man we were told about, and sure enough, he's with the Vice Commissioner's wife. This is Clyde, is it? He doesn't look like any host I've ever met before. We should grab a seat nearby so we don't call any attention to ourselves. There's a chance we'll manage to find something out. Understood. Let's split up and sit at different tables then. Okay, I mean, but all staring straight at them is so suspicious. Look on the left side, always there. Oh yes, I looked over that pamphlet from before. And after seeing those photos, well, I just fell in love on the spot. Haha, did you now? Perhaps the two of us could go and visit sometime then. If you'd like, I could even arrange for a room at the hotel. Oh, now, there's no need for that. I've already gone. The view was just magnificent. Not a single thing to complain about. That's wonderful. And it certainly simplifies things, too. Now we can move the plans forward a bit, and I've already spoiled the joke of this, but it's very well done. They do seem comfortable around each other. It sounds like they're planning a trip to Michelin together. Still, something seems off. Yeah, like, the language they're using could easily be interpreted in the way her husband thinks it is, but it also 100% works for the actual intent. To start, the guy's being too much of a kiss-ass. We still don't have any decisive evidence yet, though. Let's keep listening then. Well now, with that out of the way, I'll just be excusing myself. Of course, of course. Oh, and I'll see you again at the club. Is it gonna be like a tennis club? Haha, that's a real club. At Nuit Blanc in the entertainment district, yes. You can expect me there, ma'am. Now that line's very suspicious, but I wouldn't want to keep you from what you've been dreaming of any longer than necessary. I can hardly wait. I mean, that line was incredibly suspicious. The ones before were like easily mixable. That one was suspicious. I guess the date is over. What should we do, Lloyd? We've yet to find out anything concrete. Let's keep tailing them. Randy, Wazzy, and I will go after Clyde. Ellie, Tio, and Noelle, you three follow Margaret. Make sure you don't get spotted, no matter what. Understood. Lois joy. Pay for your meals. Heh, things are heating up nicely. Sorry to keep you waiting, Clyde. I brought what we discussed. Clyde received a briefcase. Ah, yes. Thank you very much, sir. So, how did things go? Very well, actually. She's been quite enthusiastic about the idea. We'll be closing the deal later at Noe Blanc. Haha, that's good to hear. Well, it's almost time for the next cruise ship to leave. I'll head back to Michelin and make sure everything is in order. It's all up to you now, Clyde. Secure this contract and it'll rocket you straight to the top of the firm. I won't let you down, sir. Okay, Clyde, you've got this. He's already in a good enough position to have his own car, it seems, unless that's like a company car, but I haven't talked to the noodle shop yet. There he goes. The guy sure is fired up. And from the sound of it, he's meeting up with the vice commissioner's wife at Noe Blanc. What should we do now? No need to keep tailing him now that we've got what we need, right? Yeah, let's contact Ellie and the others. We should regroup at Police HQ for now. I think we have just enough to nail down who this Clyde person really is. Contacted the others. They met at the police station. Well, how did the investigation go? Has my wife been having an affair with a host, or what? Please, calm down, Vice Commissioner. Ellie, what happened when you tailed Miss Margaret? Well, we watched her as closely as we could. We didn't notice anything out of the ordinary. She eventually went back home to the residential district. And she didn't meet anyone else on the way. However, she does plan to meet with this Clyde person at Noe Blanc later. What? What does he think he's doing, taking my wife to a seedy place like that? Oh, that's the last straw. I'll assemble an entire SWAT team and storm Noe Blanc. I told you to calm down, Vice Commissioner. Last thing you want to do is send armed officers there, you know, considering who owns the place. Well, what am I supposed to do then? For every second we waste, that host gets closer to sinking his lecherous fangs into my Margaret. He's not a healthy person. I don't think you have to worry about her falling prey like that. At least not as far as hosts are concerned. What do you mean? Wazzy had it figured out from the start. But I don't think this Clyde is a host at all. Pardon me? Well, if he isn't a host, then what in Eidos' name is he? I mean, these can be kind of the same. I mean, he's in a firm, so he's not a con artist, is my assumption, but just because he's like a salesman doesn't mean he isn't a con artist. Because, like, if you're being generous, you could say people who sell, like, for multi-level marketing schemes, you could call them salespeople, but they are also con artists. Though not really competent con artists. From what we could tell, Clyde is most likely a salesman. A salesman? Going off his speech patterns, it did sound like he wanted to sell something, just not his body or a good time. Exactly. His attitude in itself is proof that he's anything but a host. Gentlemen such as myself work hard to give lonely mesdames a brief reprieve from their otherwise painfully mundane lives. A top-class host escorts his lady with courtesy, but he would never humble himself more than necessary. We aren't there to grovel, unless that's what they're into. I bet some people are into that specifically, and so it's like, hey, you know what? Sure, I'll grovel. But that's a very specific niche. I don't know if I'd put it quite like Wazzy did, but my conclusion is more or less the same. From what I could tell, Clyde and your wife didn't look at all like they were having an affair. If pushed, I'd say they came off more as a buyer and seller. That's the impression I got, anyway. Seeing as they've met several times now, it wouldn't be unreasonable to say they're working out a business deal of some kind. Even if that is true, just what sort of purchase is he sweet-talking my wife into? Well, if we keep running with this theory, I think we can figure out what kind of salesman he is. Clyde most likely deals in real estate, because she was standing outside of a villa and was like, "Oh yes, I do indeed love it here." Real estate. So he was trying to sell her a property. Now that you mention it, Michelin came up during their conversation at Vincent. At first I thought it was about a vacation, but that pamphlet suggested otherwise. Yeah, it was probably promoting upscale properties for sale in Michelin. Plus, after we tailed him to the harbor district, Clyde received something from a man in a suit. That's right. The way they spoke to each other gave me the sense that it was his boss. He might have been delivering him a contract of some sort that needed her signature. What a dysfunctional marriage. If we piece all this together, Clyde is a real estate agent who's been in talks with your wife about buying a property. And it's going along smoothly. Miss Margaret was so receptive, she even went to Michelin herself to scope out the location. Assuming this is all true, it would explain why she's been meeting with this man so often. I think even if, unless she is incredibly wealthy and purchasing a house in Michelin is a drop in the bucket, if she wants to maintain a healthy relationship with her husband, I think talking about it beforehand is generally better. If she's super wealthy, or if she wants to, divorce him, go for it. Hey, yeah, it's all starting to fall into place. And today, they entered the final negotiations, which means the contract will be signed during their meeting at Noy Blanc. Yes, I think I get the gist of it now. We don't have that kind of money. But wait, just a second. That would mean Margaret is trying to buy property in Michelin without even consulting me, wouldn't it? I'm not made of money. Does she know how little a vice commissioner makes? Just how does that woman expect to scrounge up that kind of mira? Presumably she's, wealthy in her own right, but maybe she took out a loan? That'd be a bad idea. That's a possibility. That would be such a bad idea. He may have even convinced her to take out an unreasonably large one, which would make him a con artist. This is worse than I could have imagined. I know what I must do. I'm going to storm into Noy Blanc myself. I am not going to let this shark swindle my wife right underneath my nose. I'll give this Clyde fellow a piece of my mind and drag Margaret out of there if it's the last thing I do. Thus spoken. Thus spoke the henpecked husband. I mean, the whole henpecked thing is kind of, if you want, he's possessive. I don't know, it's just kind of, it's a weird way to frame it when it's a case of he seems to be desperately in love with her, but also incredibly incompetent in just about every way, to the point where he gets drunk and goes to hang out with I don't remember are they called hosts if they're women? Hostess? Hanging out at bars with women after getting drunk and losing his wedding ring. He's just not a great guy. I feel like we just flipped some horrible switch inside of him. I'll tell you what, we're already here, so why don't we all go and lend you a hand in holding you back and stopping you from making a big mistake. It wouldn't be wise to charge into Noy Blanc, all by your lonesome, don't you think? I can't argue with that, but is that really the reason you want to go? You have a real penchant for chasing drama, you know that, Wazzy? I haven't the slightest clue what you mean. Regardless, if we don't hold him back, I highly doubt anyone else will. Yeah, we don't have much of a choice. I'm not too stoked about it, but I think I can get us into the place. Maybe I'm weird, but I feel like, I don't know, they should have just let him ruin his marriage and his life. his marriage is gonna fall apart eventually anyway. Like, he's too clumsy, he doesn't think, so letting him make a big mistake, having them divorce, is probably for the best for both of them. Though if he is somehow a dad, then it'd be rough for the kids, but... My old pal Zax is probably on bouncer duty at the door right about now. What the devils are you all mumbling about over there? I'm headed to Noiblanc, and you're coming with me. That's final. Yes, sir. Shouldn't they just have headed home? And that's what's up. Think you can let us squeeze on by, Zax? Oh, and we'll want to keep this a secret from Shirley and Uncle Sigmund. But I'm sure you already knew that part. I was just wondering when you'd show up again. Didn't think it'd be as an errand boy, though. Haha, you really have lost your touch, huh? Commander Randolph. Just like the young miss said. Stop calling me that already. I think this is the same Jaeger we saw in front of Crimson & Co. before. Yeah, 'cause he's a low-tier goon. Alright. I'll look the other way this once. Think of it as a little favor from me to you. Just don't stir up any trouble inside. Got it? I won't say a peep to the young miss or the vice leader either. Sound good? But... so do they still not have an actual... like, they want Randy to be the leader. But you can't have a vice leader without a leader. So who's the current leader? Just Andy. Well, I played my part. Bye. Looks like they haven't arrived yet. So you'd better get inside if you're going to ambush them. Just catch them outside. Like, that's going to cause less of a fuss. Think I'm going to sit this one out, though. That's fine. We should keep a lower profile anyway. Well, I'm going in one way or another. Now decide amongst yourselves who else will be joining me. I mean, Wazzy wants to go. Someone's worked up about this. His bravado has carried him too far to back down now. I'll go. I've been looking forward to this since we took his request. The Vice Commissioner, Lloyd, and myself should be plenty, yes? Yeah, that should work. The rest of us will remain here on standby then. Make sure to contact us with your enigmas if you need backup. Will do. Okay, you two. Let's head inside. Yes, in we go. This quest is going way too long. Ooh, that's a new character model, I think. The bottom one with the golden rose in their hair. Come on, that's not sneaky. Okay, we've requested that your wife and that man be seated at the table over here once they enter the club. I see. That'll do just fine. And if it turns out he really is some crooked real estate agent, I'll see to his arrest myself. Believe me when I say I'd love to see that. Aha, don't look now. But I think that's them over there. Excuse me, I have a reservation for 2 under Clyde. Ah, yes, right this way, sir. What a generic name to put a reservation under. Hee. My, but this is a fancy club. Oh, is this your first time visiting, Margaret? I would think you've already seen everything Crossbow has to offer with your husband so high up in the police. Oh, please, that's a riot. He may be the vice commissioner, but his salary is peanut. He's definitely, like, independently wealthy. He'd much rather drink the night away with some hostess in a dingy bar than take his own wife out to dinner. Haha. My apologies, then. It may only be noon. They're in a classy bar club at noon. But allow me to kickstart the proceedings by buying you a drink. Hehe, I'd be happy to accept. You can't sign official documents after drinking alcohol. Don't worry, Vice Commissioner. Quiet, you. I don't need you telling me what to do. So what if this stooty little tap room is beyond my means? A dingy bar suits me better. That's true. What's so wrong with that? Nothing, besides your overwhelming inferiority complex. But he's right. A dingy bar is the best you can get. Bringing him with us was a mistake. Shall we get down to business, then? Retrieved a contract. As you requested, the purchase agreement for the villa in Michelin's residential area. Simply sign your name on the dotted line, and it's all yours. Oh, how I've waited for this moment! I would be more than happy to sign. We were right. It's a contract for property at the resort. So what's the plan now? I mean, he's gonna rush out. We still haven't learned whether this deal is on the up and up or not. Stay away from my wife, you charlatan. The two of them should just stay hidden. They shouldn't reveal themselves. What? Pierre? Oh no, just stay back there. Don't be complicit. Just let him ruin his own life. Don't get involved, because then it becomes official police stuff. This can only go well. This can only go well. As in, sarcastically. This can only go well. Don't step out. Stay hidden. Don't bother to help. Just abandon him. Let him ruin his own life. What in the world are you doing here? Cancel this deal at once, Margaret. Well, the deal hasn't been made yet, so it's not really canceling. It's just don't go through with it. But this crooked realtor is swindling you based on no evidence. I beg your pardon. Now hold on just a moment. Crooked? I haven't done anything wrong in the least. Well, I think supplying alcohol before someone signs the contract is inherently iffy. Oh, funny joke comedy, man. You can't fool me. Pierre, you're whining and dining my wife, buttering her up into taking some kind of ridiculous loan out on this property, aren't you? Pierre, it'll be a cold day in Gehenna before I let you sink your grubby claws into us like that. Pierre? Stay silent, woman. He's a terrible person. As the CPD's vice commissioner, Pierre... I'm sorry, Snookums. That was the quickest surrender I've ever seen. Did you hear that whip crack? You go, Margaret. Goddess, how do I put up with you? You're supposed to be a vice commissioner. How could you so blindly jump to the wrong conclusion and treat this man like a criminal? Have you no shame? Well? Eek! I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Hold on. Are you saying this is all a misunderstanding? Huh? Your random jumping to conclusions was a misunderstanding? Wow. Wait, it is? Lloyd, don't be surprised it's a misunderstanding. Come on, you're competent. Well, now I'm hooked. Go on, Margaret. Spill that tea and don't leave a drop. Very well. I'm not poor. Firstly, Glad here is a respectable realtor who deals in luxury properties. Your assessment was wrong to begin with. There's nothing crooked about him at all. That does not mean he's not crooked. Anything like timeshares are crooked, and they deal in luxury properties, I think. But I don't understand. We don't have nearly enough funds to splurge for something like that. Actually, I recently took up trading stocks in my spare time, and I've been making a tidy profit ever since. These past few days have earned me more than your salary could in half a decade. I think that's still a poor choice to buy a luxury property. Like, just because you were fortunate over the last few days doesn't mean that you should buy a nice house that you don't need. Stocks? To be honest, my patience with you has reached its limit. You're a pitiful man who can hardly look his own wife in the eye. Even your position was only earned through luck and connections. And I don't know if it's because just so you can avoid being at home with me, but your late night drinking binges are straining our finances. Rough. You were in a much better mood when you thought you were the next commissioner in line after the old one was dismissed. But then the other vice commissioner was chosen over you. Your sour grapes have made you grouse and complain incessantly ever since. No, it's not. It's not harsh. He's a absolute failure of a human being. Isn't that a little harsh, ma'am? Quite honestly, I don't think I could live with you any longer. I didn't think I could live with you any longer. Just divorce him. That was the reason I consulted Clyde. I hoped to use my earnings to purchase a home for myself. So they're going to be living separately. The plan was to separate from you before eventually filing for a divorce. Originally, that is. Is she going to file for divorce first? Gah. Actually, it's bad. She actually probably should have divorced before getting property. At least based on, what I'm under the impression of Earth's, divorce, where stuff sort of splits semi-evenly. Whereas if she didn't have the money, she split. Then she got the money. Then she got the house. Boom. Out come the claws. Now it's getting good. Were you born without the ability to feel compassion? Maybe I'm harsh. Why would you feel compassion for Vice Commissioner Pierre? He's not a good person. He treats his wife poorly, but is terrified of her. He's not a good guy. You should want her to be able to split from him so that she doesn't have to put up with him. Wait, did you just say originally? Huh? I did. You organized all of this because you were afraid of losing me, didn't you? Up to now, you've been too afraid of me to step foot in the house. I'm impressed that you went through with all of this. I think that's a terrible reason to stay with someone. That's a very bad reason to stay with someone. If the only thing, they're just possessive. It's not a good relationship. I'm not a relationship person. Maybe I'm misjudging. But maybe I'm just too harsh on Pierre. Maybe it's Pierre's a terrible person. She should just divorce him now. So tonight, I want you to come home so that we can sit down and talk this through. Together. Margaret. I'm very sorry, Clyde. We're going to have to put this purchase on hold. That can't be, Margaret. We were so close. It's not as if I've canceled the deal entirely. But it was wrong of me to negotiate alone. I look forward to discussing this again in the future. Pierre and I may not be separating, but the property still interests me. I'm sure I'll purchase it eventually. I would have preferred to close the deal today, but I suppose I can't force you to sign a contract. I'll just excuse myself then. I don't know why you'd want to stay with Pierre. He's just not a good guy. He's clearly, unhealthily possessive. It turns out Clyde wasn't guilty of anything in the end. It turns out. It makes me feel kind of bad for suspecting him the way we did. I mean, being suspicious is reasonable. Being oh, we suspect he might do this, but assuming that you're correct is the wrong move. Oh, who cares about his feelings? What matters is that we kept the Vice Commissioner's sinking marriage afloat. I should be going too, Pierre. I'll see you again tonight. We have plenty to discuss. So come straight home after work. Understood? Yes, Snookums. And so he dons the leash yet again. I think Lloyd's stance is kind of unreasonable. And everyone's stance is unreasonable. Where they're oh, she's so controlling. And he willingly accepts the control. No, he's a terrible person. The fact that his wife is willing to put up with him is far more noteworthy than, oh, he's willing to go back to this wife that's giving him a chance after he's a terrible guy. Like, the whole, oh, he's henpecked is such a weak line of story. Excellent work today, SSS. We're glad that everything worked out in the end. It's a relief to know your wife wasn't being taken advantage of. That's all well and good, yes, but now I'm gonna have to be paying out the nose for a villa I've never even seen before. Thank the goddess we're not getting a divorce, at least. I suppose we can use the new place as a weekend retreat. Margaret did seem to be charmed by it, for what it's worth. Yeah, man. Sometimes you gotta give in and let the lady have what she wants. I think the perspective on how this is written is very... like, oh, Pierre should be the one... He's henpecked. Oh, you gotta give in and let your spouse make a decision for once. Like, yes, her stock trading is risky. Oh, I made more than you've made in the last 5 years. And then she could lose that in the next day. But if she really made more money than he's made in the last 5 years, and it's like, oh, it's enough to purchase a nice house, it's like, let her make this, let her like push for decisions and make agreements. Like, it seems very in how this interaction is written. Besides, there it is. Besides, the funds are coming out of her own stock market earnings in the first place. Which is a whole different can of worms. How did Margaret manage to... This is a valid question. I mean, him asking it is not coming from the place of validity, but how did she manage to make that much money is a very good question. As if I needed another reminder of how much more capable she is than me. You reap what you sow, as they say. Be that as it may. As long as I'm still a married man at the end of the day, I'm grateful. What an unhealthy perspective. You have my thanks, SSS. Anytime, Vice Commissioner. You can always count on us. We'll just show ourselves out now. That was a weak quest. Like, his relationship is unhealthy. He's not a good guy. The way the characters viewed the relationship is unreasonable. Like, they were aggressive. Ooh, it's Yona. Oh, it's Tio. And I see you've brought the rest of the SSS. What's up, guys? Been a while. Hello, Chief Roberts. Jonah. Are the two of you here for lunch? Yes, I wanted Jonah here to try eating healthy for once in his life. He had nothing but pizza while he was living at the Foundation's headquarters in Lehman State. Ah, yes. How could I ever forget? And what's this? I see he's barely touched any of his veggies. You're right, his plate is nothing but peppers and carrots now. Cooked peppers are kind of gross. Raw peppers? Whew. Delicious. When you get cooked peppers, they're kind of soggy, but the skin is still tightly held together when it's long peppers. If it's small bits of peppers, cooked is always good. Like, I can understand disliking long strips of like bell peppers that are cooked because the texture is abysmal if it isn't cooked to the point that the skin is weak. Like, if the skin still has structural integrity, but it's floopy, but it's still structurally strong, so you have to bite through it and it's tough, that's not good. If it's cooked to the point where it's all soft, including the skin, wonderful. If it's small bites, wonderful. Carrots are always good, though. Being a picky eater isn't good for you, Jonah. Don't treat me like some dumb kid. I'll eat whatever I want. He is a dumb kid. Coming to a sit-down restaurant is a total waste of my time. I mean, forks, knives, why even bother? He should actually be like 200 pounds despite being like 12. It's so much easier to just inhale a couple of slices of pizza while I'm on the computer. This can't be. You mean to say those scrumptious vegetables don't light up your plate? You have to respect Chief Roberts' perspective on vegetables. Oh, this is all my fault. I only wanted you to eat something more nutritious. Aha! I got it. I'll summon chefs from across the myriad to create the ultimate vegetable dish. One that even you can appreciate. Do it. Ugh, could you cut it out already? And you wonder why we think you're so frickin' annoying. You want me to stop being picky? Fine, just watch me. Chomp. Gah! It's like eating a weed. Ugh, that's false. Like, anyone's ever eaten, like, dandelion salad? Where it's kind of wilted and stuff? That's actually kind of gross. It tastes fine, but it's very bitter. Like, never in my life have I eaten peppers or carrots that were anywhere near that iffy of a flavor. Maybe changing his ways won't be so easy after all. If only. Munch, munch, gulp. Oh, I just remembered. You guys found out something about that clown dude who hacked the tower while you were at Michelin, right? Official police business, Jonah. We can't comment. Stuff he knows. Having a stuff he knows really makes it difficult. He's right. We did meet him at Michelin. We should keep what happened that night under wraps for now. Damn. That's how it's gonna be, huh? Well, fine. Anyway, ever since the tower incident, he hasn't shown up again on the net. But I still have to make him pay me back double for trashing my base. If you hear any more details, send them my way, okay? Well, we can't promise you anything. Why you gotta be such a stick in the mud? All you gotta do is upload the info into your database. Then I can just hack into it later and take a look-see for myself. This kid's serious right now? You should really consider behaving yourself on occasion, now that the IBC is supporting you. To that end, I would appreciate it if you kept a close eye on him, Chief. We can't allow him to run rampant now that basic orbital network laws have gone into effect. That's absolutely right, Tio. You're under my care now, Jonah. I'm going to be watching over you like a hawk 24 hours a day. Hey, don't egg him on, Tio. You know what kind of hell you're putting me through. We should leave, everyone. Sure. Heh, passing the buck is an art, and I'd say she's got it down pat. I was planning to finish roaming the city, but the quest took longer than I expected. I'll finish exploring the central square, leave west and the residential for tomorrow, when hopefully my nose won't be as stuffy. Crossbow's such a wonderful place. I hope we can see all of the sights and make some lasting memories. It's official. Nono and I are going to face off in a cooking showdown. Our first challenge is seeing who can make the best pasta dish. I need to think up what recipe I should use. He's gonna lose. I was unsure about traveling to Crossbow after all the international tension recently. But in the end, I'm glad we decided to come. My girlfriend is having a ball too. This nerd. Slurp. Becoming an independent state won't be as easy as some people want to believe. I, for one, am much more concerned about the danger pursuing it could put us in. No, I don't want a quest here. Good day, everyone. Welcome to Mate Set. Do you have a reservation with us? Well, not exactly. Shoot, there's a quest here. We're with a special... Oh no, this is a food one. That's fine. We're with a special sports section and... gourmet recommendations. Oh, I've heard about that. So you're the ones writing the report, are you? Well then, please, feel free to sit at any open table you like. If I may make a recommendation, our new seasonal herb pasta is absolutely superb. Thank you. We'd love to try it. They should really order 6 different dishes and like split each of the dishes between all of them, that would be a more fair sample. Munch, munch. You don't really munch on pasta, do you? Well, how do you like our chef's specialty pasta? This is delicious. The flavor is rich and intense, but with a light, refreshing afternote. You can taste each and every herb, and the texture is perfectly al dente. Weird. Oh yeah, spaghetti in a can this ain't. One bite and you know it was made by a pro. Haha, I'm glad you all enjoyed it. Maybe we should bring Kia with us next time. Sounds like a good idea to me. Thank you for dining with us today. On behalf of all of us at Set, we look forward to your next visit. So that was not a winner. So within Crossbell there's still the noodle place at least. I thought I would have gone back to waiting tables by now, but the manager asked for me to work in the kitchen a little longer, so I agreed. Not only that, but he asked me to compete with Celtio. He said it would be important for his future. I feel a bit guilty tricking him into taking his job seriously, but I won't lie. Going head to head sounds like a great time. Haha, Hoystorf is a genius. Nono's culinary progress has made a rival of Celtio, so Hoystorf is using it to light a fire under him. A week from today, they're going to have a cooking showdown to determine who gets to serve as my sous chef. That's just for show though. I'll take them both on as chefs, as long as they're willing to put the work in, which Celtio is not. But keep that to yourself. The less Celtio knows, the better. Is that a recipe on the wall? Got it. Herb pasta. Fresh herbs, nostalgic flavor. Boom. Got the recipe. So, I believe that's the last people I'm going to talk to in this area. But on account of my nose being all stuffy, I'm going to stop here. And that quest took a lot longer. But, so, there's a bakery here. There's nothing here. There is the noodle place here. I didn't go to... There's a noodle place in Harbor. There is the food place here that I can't remember the name of, Long Lao. And I think that's it for Crossbell proper. But I'm stopping here because my nose is stuffed and it's driving me insane. And that quest for Pierre took longer than I thought, but next time it'll be continuing with West Street, the residential district, the cathedral, which is somewhere over here, the cathedral, and then going Bellegarde Gate, and then around the circle. So, we'll be back tomorrow. Bye-bye.